Today we'll see how we can pass parameter to glue job. So if you want to pass parameter to glue job, you have to use this function get resolved options. So this the AWS glue get resolved options utility function gives you access to the arguments that are passed to your script when you run the job. So with the help of this function, you can get the input parameters and you can use it in your processing. To use this function, start by importing it from the AWS Glue utils module along with the sys module. So we have to import these two comments, import these two statements, import sys, and from AWS Glue.utils import get resolved options. So basically, if you want to use the function in our code, we can use like this: import sys from AWS Glue.utils import get resolved options. So this is the parameter. So what are the parameter you want to pass? You have to mention in this parenthesis in this bracket here. So here, for example, here we have four parameters we are passing here. Job name is kind of like the glue job name, whichever we are creating. That is job name, and then these are the parameters which we're going to pass to the jobs: day partition key, hour partition key, day partition value, and hour partition value. These are the parameters we are passing to the glue job. Let's see this in a demo. I've created this sample job here. So this is my sample job. So this job is mainly used to copy the file from one bucket to other bucket. In the source bucket, the file format is CSV. In the target, the file format is Part6. So in order to pass parameter to the glue job, we need to go to the job details section. In the job details section, we have something called additional property, advanced properties. Under that, you have a parameter called. Under that, you have this job parameters. So here we have to pass the parameter values. So under key, you have to provide the parameter name. So here the parameter name is folder name, given hyphen hyphen folder name. Then the value, given value here is testing here. If you want to give more parameters, then click on add new parameters and you can give all the parameters here. Just need to put hyphen hyphen the parameter name. I've hardcoded the values testing here. For example, the same job, if you want to run for multiple times with different input parameters, then you can pass these values at runtime and you can run this job. But for time being, I've hardcoded the values testing here and I'm going to run this particular job here. I'll move on to the script now. As we see in the documentation page, to access the parameters, we have to use this getResolved option function. For that purpose, we are just importing this function from AWS Glue.utils. And we want to retrieve the value using this function here, getResolved options, sys.argv, then followed by parameters name here. If you have more parameters, you can give a comma here and you can put all the parameters here. Here the job name is the one which we created for. Job name is the actual glue job name, and then followed by the parameters. All the parameters you have to give here. Folder name, then any other parameter if you want to pass, you can put a comma and pass all those values here. And here I'm just storing this input parameter to a variable called folder name, and many things like kind of a default code here, like as part of Spark you have glue, you have to create this Spark context, then you have to create this glue context. The remaining codes are like kind of the default code. So as we create a glue job, you have to create this glue context, then Spark context, all those things we have to create. That's the code here. The next is the logger. Here logger equal to glue context or get logger. So this function is mainly for logging the values. Since sometimes the print might not work when you want to displace the value in the log. If you put a print statement, it might not display the values. In order to display the values in the log, I'm just using this logger function here, get logger, and just logging the information using logger.info. Then that whatever you want to display in the logs, you can put their value here. So it's mainly for logging the data, logging the value in the cloudwatch logs. Next is like this is just I'm just displaying the entire arguments like what we are passing, and on that I'm just displaying only the folder name. That is what we just consumed a variable here, folder name. This is the value which we are passing from the job parameters. I'm just storing that in a folder name variable and I'm displaying it here. Next here, this is the typical like the glue code which you're going to read the file from dev demo bucket the CSV format. And next is the mapping here. This is like kind of uh, a transform here, just like there is no change here. Whatever there is input, we're going to pass to the output in the final target. So what I'm going to do is in the bucket, I'm just updating this. I'm just creating a new folder with the value which we are passing as a parameter. For example, here we are passing a testing as a parameter. Like here we are passing this folder name as a parameter here. With the help of that folder name value, we're going to create a folder here. So this is my output bucket. So inside the bucket, I'm going to create a folder name with the value what we are passing as input parameters. The same thing I'm just passing as a bucket name here, and the format is FARK here. That's all about the script here. Move on to the job details here. I'm using a glue dev IAM role here. Let me open the IAM here. IAM. So here glue dev IAM role here. And if you see, I have two policies here. One is S3 full access, other one is CloudWatch full access. And these are two access I've given here. You can fine grain your access, but for this demo purpose, I'm given full access to both these services here. Moving on to the bucket now. For my input bucket, I have only one file, custom.csv file, and my target output bucket, it's empty right now. So once we run the job, this is going to create a folder inside this bucket, and the folder name is the value which we are passing as the input parameter. Under that, you will have a actual Parquet file. That's what we're going to do now. Let's run this job now. Job is running now. Let the job run in the background. So basically here, this parameter, I just want to reiterate this logger function, logger here. So in order to print the values in the log, you can use this getLogger function. With the help of this logger function, you can print the values in the logs. Sometimes the print statement will not work. So for the purpose, I'm using this getLogger function here. And with the help of this logger function, we're going to print the values in the CloudWatch logs. The run details now. Job runs successfully. Let's check the output here now. So let me now the folder is now the bucket is empty. Let me refresh this one. So now you could see this testing. This is the input parameter we pass. So that with the help of that parameter, we have created a folder here, testing. Under that, you'll have a Parquet file here. Now let's go into the glue job and just check the logs here. Click on all logs. So you could see the log information job started. That is the if I open the job here, first is job started here. I'm printing this very job started. That's you could see here job started here. Next I'm printing this entire arguments here. That is what you could see here. The entire arguments here. You could see the entire arguments here. And in the arguments you could see the argument folder name testing. You could see in the arguments. And from that arguments, I'm just taking this folder name and printing here. This is the value which we are passing. That's what you could see here. Folder name is testing here. So now in this video we saw like how we can pass the input parameter to a glue job, and we can consume that parameter inside the script, and we can do our functionality. For example, in this case, I've just used that value to create a folder in the target bucket.